Hello, everyone. John Cooper here, once again to discuss Doctor Who with Captain Switzerland.
Hello.
Today we'll be discussing the latest episode of Series 11, Episode 8, The Witchfinders. Let's see. Now, this episode, I believe, will be a very interesting one because this is probably the first time the Doctor will head into we've had a few history eras of Doctor Who this series, but I believe this is the first one in which the Doctor's new gender will probably be conflict with her usual leading role and stuff as like leader of the gang. But anyway, we'll start off with the description. Anyway, how the story went out. Anyway, the Doctor and co. have arrived around in the 16th century. Or is it the 17th century? I don't know, I get them mixed up, but yeah, 16th.
It'll be 17th. If it was the 1600s, it'll be the 17th century. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, probably that one. Yeah. Yeah, 16th. Oops, sorry, I was just putting on something.
No worries.
But anyway, near Lancaster, near Pedden Hill, where they reach a certain village and they're having a lot of fun with the Doctor picking up apples. Of course, trouble starts happening as they end up seeing that this festival around here is to prepare for a witch trial. The Doctor at first is reluctant to interfere with history because that's been a recurring theme with like this, but as the old woman that's getting dunked by her granddaughter, while the other granddaughter is watching on in horror, the Doctor swims to save her, but unfortunately the woman drowns and dies. Not being able to save her because back then, witch trials, you were screwed either way if you were guilty or not guilty.
You really were. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you drown, you're innocent, but don't worry, because if you're innocent, you'll be in heaven now. So that's fine. And then if you survive, oh, you're a witch, and we'll dry you off and burn you.
Yeah. Oh, blimey. We should be glad that Angels was never in that era. She'd probably be accused of witch by some jealous bloke. But yeah. But anyway. The Doctor ends up starts to take charge by saying, no more drowning, and shows her classic psychic paper, and she's saying that she's like the Witchfinder general and stuff, which gets I can't recall the woman's name. Okay, the woman in charge of...
The woman in... Yeah, I know the one you're on about. The woman in charge of all the witch findings in the village.
Yeah, I can't recall what her name is. Let's see.
I'll just call her Witchfinder woman.
I think it's called Becca Savage. Okay, that's Savage.
Yeah,
the name Savage sounds fitting given this time. But yeah.
And we had to get dear old Graham to stand in for the Doctor because you were saying about the fact that she was a woman playing the part that she wasn't able to assume the lead role this time, was she?
Oh yeah, because just as I was getting to the bottom of it, the arrival of King James I. And King James VI of Scotland, if you want to go into details, has arrived, saying how he's an expert in battling witches and Satan. Which I must admit, I do like the performance of the actor and how funny he is. But yes, as soon as he reads the psychic paper, just like you said, Graham is the one taking charge, and it was like, and the Doctor's like, what? All that stuff. Of course, depending on now this will probably, of course, end up pissing perhaps the more anti-PC SJW crowd of Doctor Who. Maybe the social justice thing, but I think with this episode here, it's probably a bit fitting because this is the first time the Doctor is like we just said, the Doctor is dealing with like being a woman for the first time in a previous historic area, and yes.
Oh yeah, I think on those kind of things, it's entirely how they handle the issue.
Yeah.
I think that like they haven't really beaten you over the head with it in this season. Like obviously they made a thing about the fact the Doctor's a woman, but it's not like the emphasis of every episode.
Oh yeah, it's only in like a few cases, like when she said, "I used to be a Scotsman," so I never got to
yeah, back when I was a Scottish man. Yeah, but it's played up to comic effects, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's like funny.
But I remember in I think it was in Matt Smith's Moffat era, he was bloody awful at writing this sort of thing. I think there was one point where Clara was asking if she could fly the TARDIS, and Matt Smith's doctor said, "Oh, I'm not sure. It's quite difficult." And then she just goes, "Oh, you're not letting me drive it because I'm a woman." And I just kind of thought, why would Clara's character assume Matt Smith's doctor to be sexist? Why would that be the case in the first place?
Oh yeah. But we can rip off Moffat once we get to that Stephen Moffat video.
Yes, of course.
Got another 8 episodes left before I'm ready to fully do it. But yes. Anyway, the Doctor. Let's see. Given the fact that the Dr. Graham is now supposedly in charge, or granted, he clearly wants the Doctor to be in charge because she's the expert in this stuff. But let's see. King James takes a liking to Ryan because I think there's like some. Let's see. Because I think historians and scholars have been saying that King James might be bisexual. I'm not sure if it's ever been clear if it was, but who knows? But you probably will never get to know because during that times, I'm pretty certain gays would have been as hated as much as witches. But hey, anyway, let's see. The Doctor and I believe, is it Yasmin? Or yeah, I think it's that Yasmin. Go and end up meeting with like the other granddaughter who's just gone to bury her gran. In like the grave because she just got drowned and stuff. And just as she's praying, these sort of vine things start coming out and starting to attack people, which I thought was actually quite good and terrifying in the way they did it and stuff.
The mud tentacles, or what did they call them? Tendrils in the episode.
Yeah,
mud tendrils.
Yeah. Caesar from the tendrils made of mud. Yes, that's what it is. Let's see. And this is where the Doctor realizes that where the Doctor and Yaz, I believe, learn that. Savage and find that Becca Savage and William Twitson were cousins, but Becca ended up marrying the lord of this area. Now she's been in charge and stuff, and they become distant, particularly. And she first thought that she and her gran would be safe from the witch drownings, but clearly that's not the case, as now her life is possibly in danger, and the Doctor's going to try and do her best to make sure that she gets out alive and stuff. During this point, the Doctor realizes that that there's something alien going on. I have to admit, I'm a bit surprised that the Shakespeare witch episode wasn't really brought up during this episode at all. But who knows? But yeah.
The Shakespeare. Was that a Tennant episode?
Yeah, the Tennant episode. Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in that episode the Doctor saying, "Is political correctness gone mad?" Funny how years later the show would be accused of doing that. But anyway, yeah. Let's see. I believe they do a bit more investigating, and the grandma ends up getting a reanimated corpse kind of vibe, and it was like, and I have to admit, the makeup design is really good for her and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was really good for her and the other, what would you call them, mud zombies?
Yeah, mud zombies, yeah. Let's see. I believe Doctor Who has done zombies a few times. Well, never the brain-eating ones, but I have to admit, this is perhaps one of them. I think this was quite a well-done design and stuff. Let's see, as I believe the mud zombie ends up going... they end up following it to, like, Becca Savage's house, where it picks up an axe, when the Doctor gets a bit suspicious of what Becca's behind, while I believe Ryan and Graham are with Becca and King James, and you see a bit more, and you see James taking a bit of a liking to, I believe, Ryan, as they're discussing, like, parents and stuff. I think King James, his mother, about how many times how he cannot really trust anyone and stuff. And there's a bit of a joke with, like, Graham with, like, the Witchfinder hat about how his first Witchfinder he had to kill because he betrayed him and stuff, which that was funny.
I think King James stole every single scene he was in, to be honest. I think he was brilliant in this.
Oh yeah. Let's see. During the later, I'm trying to remember what other details there are, but because Wikipedia is not being really helpful in details at the moment. But during, during the search. I believe the doctor ends up meeting up with Becca.
And Becca accuses first the granddaughter of being a witch, and then the doctor of being a witch.
Ah, yes, and let's see, she tries to persuade King James to get to her side, and he's becoming a bit suspicious because how the doctor's out and acting like a woman during this period of time, and they're trying to, you know, try and pressure Willa to take their side, which she eventually gives in when she says it's a bit suspicious that she's called the Doctor because I'm pretty certain I'm pretty sure certain for most winners' time they'd probably be felt pressured to side with the system. Otherwise, you become a witch.
Yeah,
That is probably totally understandable. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I just remembered that. Let's see, Graham, Yaz, and Ryan have been pursuing some more of the reanimated corpses and stuff. Let's see, the Doctor is tied up. Has a conversation with King James about his past and about how she can help and stuff. And I believe this was, from what I've heard, some people have called this, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor moment of the series this year. The one when she's trying to persuade King James.
I can see where they're coming from there. It sort of showed off her depth as a character a lot more than what we've seen so far in the series.
Let's see, granted, the reasoning doesn't work in King James at this point in time because he's still convinced that the Doctor is drowning. Let's see. Well, let's see. At some point, let's see. Well, as Ryan and co continue to find the witches and stuff, the inanimate corpses, they hear the festival about another drowning, and they feel like, who could be drowned at this moment? And they probably realized, oh crud, it could possibly be the Doctor. So yeah, let's see. So they hurry off to the lake where she's about to be drowned. Let's see. The Doctor tries to reason once again, but it's not working. Because Becca is so convinced, because Becca is so determined to drown the Doctor, and she ends up getting dunked in. I believe the Doctor is being suspicious about the tree that they're using. Let's see.
Becca touches the tree, and the tree has a weird reaction, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and that's what it was. Thank you, Swiss.
No problems.
So glad I have you here. But anyway, let's see. The rest of the TARDIS crew try to convince King James to pull the Doctor back up. Let's see. King James is kind of struggling at this point because Becca's saying, if you stop it now, we'll never find out if she's a witch and a servant of Satan.
And King James does hate servants of Satan, as he reminds us several times.
Oh yeah. It seems. King James eventually caves in from the TARDIS crew and says, bring her up, and she's forced to bring up the Doctor, but the Doctor is completely vanished from change, and everyone's wondering, has she drowned? But then we find out the Doctor is back on the land, completely soaked, so a little bit complaining. She gets immediately accused of being a witch by Becca Savage, with the Doctor saying, I'm just a good swimmer and I can undo chains.
I think she said, I spent a weekend with Harry Houdini or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that was brilliant. I can see the Doc. I would love to see an episode with those two together, but that doesn't seem to be like we're going to get one. But yeah. Let's see, because, I forgot the sonic screwdriver was also taken by the Doctor from King James.
Oh, that's right, her magic wand.
Yeah. Let's see. And just before Becca can do anything, the reanimated corpses arrive, and she starts getting dust in her eyes and starting to get affected. And this is when the Doctor realizes that she knew about she knew about what was that she's been infected. And she reveals that she chopped down a tree because it was out of the sight. It was kind of like an ugly view from the sight and stuff. A petty reason to cut down one of the trees, but hey. And she starts realizing she's getting infected, and due to the fact that during this time, no one really believed in aliens, and they believed in like demons and witches and stuff. She believes she's being infected by Satan, so the best way to so she tries to cover this by having all those women drowned, and saying she's doing the work of God. But of course, we know that's not the case, and she's doing something what we would consider now very barbaric. But yeah, let's see. James realizing in his own ways that Becca's lied to her and accused her of being a witch and being infested by Satan, and Becca apologizing and stuff. And she confesses how, she informed her grandma what was going on and asked her to cut off her leg with an axe, but the grandma refuses to do it, and she accuses the grandma of being weak, and to make sure she doesn't spill out what she's been doing and what's happened to her, she has her immediately drowned to make sure that no one found her into secret.
Yeah. Granny refuses to cut off the leg, so send her for a dunk in the river.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, this episode was quite dark today in that regard. But yeah. But yes, and immediately the infection takes place, and then they realize, that she is an alien entity, revealing herself as the queen of a war criminal race known as the Morax, I believe.
I think Morax is right. For some reason, I just I thought of Clorox then, but I'm sure that's a cleaning chemical or something like that. The Morax, yeah, that sounds right.
And she looks like that wooden, mud. She looks like this wooden, muddy thing that's similar to that one episode from last series where they were doing, Bill Potts and co were renting a room, and they had that wooden, and that wooden lady in it with those infesting bugs and stuff with that caretaker.
Oh, yeah, the haunted house.
Yeah, the haunted house one. I've just recently saw that episode the other day, but yeah, so that's why I'm referencing it. But yeah, and granted, King James gets kidnapped as the Doctor realizes that the tree was designed as a prison thing.
Keep everyone locked in the hill in mud form.
Yeah, which is kind of. Yeah, but it's what it is. But and they reveal their plan to have their king possess King James and take over England, the United Kingdom, and the rest of the world following afterwards. King James gets taken while the rest are pushed away by this air attack, I believe. I can't recall what it was, but yes, they're unconscious. The Doctor realizing what they need to do. They discover that the dunking tree is like technology, and they, in a funny moment, Graham gives the Doctor the witch-finding hat because, this is your thing. And they prepare, and they start breaking the tree into torches, and then they look at it, and they all go into sort of like witch hunt. Sorry, I'm kind of going a bit too fast.
That's fine. They get the branches, and when they burn them, they glow green. I think it was green as opposed to red. It was funny coloured flames, and they were going to use those to go scare off the mud people.
Oh yes, and just as the ritual is about to take place, the Doctor and co arrive, and this sort of like big swamp tendril arrives with like a face, and it's trying to possess King James, but the Doctor and co are using the fire to scare off all the mortals and stuff. The Morax, and force them out of their hosts' bodies, and the bodies collapse, the Queen refuses to leave Savage's body, but James, grabbing one of the fires, kills her, which kind of course, sort of angers the Doctor, because, she doesn't...
Very against the unnecessary murder, isn't she?
Yeah. The Doctor, because we know the Doctor tries to avoid killing as much as possible. During, also this time, we get, I believe, a touching moment with, Willa, Willa, who's saying now her grandma can rest in peace, and I think she might close the eyes. I can't recall if she did that or not. But then we go this following day. The Doctor and co are about to part ways with King James and Willa. The King declares that none of the events will be recorded this day. And let's see. Well, the Doctor and co ask that they at least allows the citizens to evacuate before he burns down the entire area. Let's see. The Doctor thanks, of course. King James thanks the Doctor for her help, even though the Doctor's a bit angry and is not a bit happy with him right now, but still wishes him well and stuff. Let's see. Willa decides to become a doctor after being inspired by the Doctor there, and given how fact her own grandma was a sort of healer, who was like good with all these remedies and potions and stuff, which I forgot to mention earlier, which probably also didn't help her being accused of being a witch, but hey. For the Doctor, for the Doctor and co, leave. King James asks Ryan to come with him to London and stay with him and stuff, clearly taking a fancy to him. Ryan is touched by this, of course, but he says that his place belongs with the Doctor. And as the group leaves, they decide to surprise the two, King James and Willa, as the TARDIS just materializes and disappears.
What I would have loved at the very last minute of the episode is if King James sees the TARDIS disappear and he goes, "Aha! She was a witch! I knew it!" At the very last minute.
Let's see. Or go like, "Is this witchcraft?" Or Willa goes like, "No, it's probably something from the heavens, but who knows? Never mind." But yeah. So there we go. So, Swiss, what are your thoughts on the episode?
I think I've got mixed thoughts on the episode. I didn't think it was quite as I don't think it was quite as solid as the one we did last week.
Oh yeah.
Where Space Amazon.
Oh yeah. Go on.
But definitely I do think it was funny. I do think that King James completely stole the show.
Oh yeah, he steals the show in every scene he is. Be it is like saying that the Doctor is not in charge, and he's just being a woman and the times and stuff. I am an expert in dealing with Satan. To his bonding with like Graham and Ryan. But yeah, I have to admit I quite like this episode, but I do feel like when the Morax came in, that's when the episode started to waver a bit or feel a bit.
I agree, actually. I completely agree. But by the time the Morax had arrived, I just kind of went, what? Who are this is all going very quickly now. Who are the Morax? What are they here for? Why?
Yeah, and it's a bit of corny in how they do it and stuff, which is, that's fine. I like corny aliens and monsters and Doctor Who now and then, but I feel like it didn't mesh well with what they were going with the episode. I understand that they needed a monster for the episode.
But it did kind of feel just like, mandatory alien bad guy tacked on at the end to explain everything.
Oh, yeah. It would probably be a bit better if they were left a bit more ambiguous, kind of like in Midnight.
Yeah, if they go, they were, maybe just go, they were some kind of evil alien spirits, something along those lines. But instead, they sort of spelled it out for us as like, oh, these are genocidal evil Morax, and they've been tried and punished for 1 billion years, and they've been sealed inside here by this technology, which is actually a prison, and blah blah blah. And it just.
And they want to take over the world.
Yeah, and the whole thing gets expositioned in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, a bit more of a Saturday morning cartoon vibe thing, but yeah, because I definitely think the Doctor was quite good this week, because when it was like trying to save people's lives from being Witchfinders, Dritzy reacting to no longer being charged, and I think she even makes a comment, "Geez, now I understand the women of this era and stuff."
But when she was chatting to James, the whole bit about, oh, you've got darkness inside you, and he's like, no, I just like defeating Satan. And I think there was one bit where she says he hides behind a mask, and then he goes, well, isn't that what you do with the name Doctor? And she just has this dumbfounded look like, oh, crap, you got me. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, I like how the Doctor isn't just completely dominating an argument. It's back and forth. She wins on some points, but on other points, she's defeated on. It's kind of like a political debate in a sense, but yeah, which we tend to end up doing on your streams, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like Ryan with his like bonding with King James and stuff. It's like I think he has an idea that okay, is the king possibly crushing on me a bit? Let's see, but it's like I'm not going to say anything because he's the king. But yeah,
I think the way that they played that in the episode was really good as well. Like in one way it was really in your face. Like there was no way you couldn't notice it. But they never came out and said it. That they never had a scene where King James goes, actually, you know what? I quite fancy men as well. So they kept it just under the surface, and I think that made it all the funnier.
Yeah, they made it obvious but subtle at the same time.
Yes.
And of course, Graham, steals the show when he ends up being the Witchfinder General. Let's see, to learning what happened to the last one, and I think that was the funniest line in the show today, but I can't recall what it was.
I think I remember because it was a few days ago now, but I think I remember he was doing more of what he did in the last episode, which is in imparting these little sage chunks of wisdom out of nowhere. Just these lines that will come out with, and it's like, oh wow, that's deep, Graham. Where did you get that one from?
Oh yeah, I remember now. Let's see, the doctor was pointing out the obvious and he was going like how she just pointed out the obvious. But yeah, that was it. Let's see, but yeah, that was the other thing I was remembering. But yeah, I think he also had another one of those words of wisdom. I think Yaz was once again probably the disappointing companion, I guess. I mean, I think she did stuff in the episode, but you just don't really remember it.
I definitely feel that she's the least fleshed out of all the new characters that have been introduced this season.
Oh yeah, let's see. Anyway, we still have 2 more characters to discuss. Let's see, Becca Savage and her cousin, Willa. I have to admit, I think they both played their roles quite well.
Yeah, Becca Savage, I absolutely hated her all the way through the episode, and I think that's what you were supposed to feel, isn't it? You were supposed to hate her. You were supposed to be so annoyed that there was no telling her. There was no telling her that they weren't witches.
Oh yeah.
So I think the actress played her pretty well.
Yeah, but there's also a bit of sense of tragedy to her because she's trying to keep her position, keep everything a secret, but just due to the circumstances and possibly the society she's in, she goes to such extremely lengths just to cover the truth.
Yeah, and they've been doing this a bit, haven't they? They've had the bad guys as being kind of pseudo sympathetic characters, but you've always got to come back around to the fact of going, well, they have been killing loads of people, so they can't have too much sympathy.
Yeah, and they do need to be punished in some form. Granted, if it was the Doctor's way, they wouldn't be punished with death, but unfortunately, that's what ended up happening. But yeah, no, never mind. But I definitely liked how Willa was quite sympathetic throughout the whole thing, with like the pleading of her grandma's life to, the pressure she felt when being accused of possibly being witchcraft and being forced to sort of turn against the Doctor, only to eventually get back on side a bit later when it was a bit more safer and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I think she was made to, and I really will commend the writing in this season compared to what we've had previously, because even the smaller characters do feel more human, more real than they have done in the past. I think it's very easy for you to write a Doctor Who episode and you just include, 5 disposable characters of the week who do nothing and say nothing. But even with the granddaughter, she wavered, she backed the Doctor, then she changed her mind, then she backed her again. She was upset her grandma was dead. There was one point, actually, I'm not sure if you remember, they'd gone to her house and it was early in the episode, they were trying to find out from her what's going on, and she offered them a drink and everything.
Oh yeah.
And the Doctor had said to her, "Oh, aren't you going to drink anything?" And she said, "Oh, I can't, I'm too nervous," or something like that. And I thought at that point in the episode, oh, maybe she's something to do with the witches. Maybe she is a witch. Maybe she's trying to poison the 2 of them, and that's why she won't drink the water. But as it turned out, that came to absolutely nothing. But
it was more of a human weakness moment. But yeah,
exactly. But again, I think that was good in itself, because it's like I was trying to read too much into her just being a bit cut up about her grandma dying. But they've done this season where they'll make you think there's going to be one kind of twist, and then actually it's something else. So it's quite
yeah, I think they've been working quite well on the twist. I mean, the twist from this one was pretty obvious, but I think for the episode it had to be. But I definitely like how Willa's Ritzy completed her arc where she realized, inspired by the Doctor, she wants to become a doctor herself and be like her grandmother.
Oh, You know what? I'd say they had a twist with James as well. You know, at the beginning of the episode, they had him like lurking in the trees, watching them like he was going to be some big evil monster of the week, and then he turns up and he's just all flamboyant.
Oh yeah, the flamboyant King James. Oh yeah, like you said, he was probably the best role in this thing.
Yeah.
I must admit, they've been doing really well with historical figures when they bring them into the episodes as of late. But yeah.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have like a rejuvenated energy. As I understand it, I mean, you know, even since the New Who revival in like the 2000s, they've had some futuristic episodes, some historic ones. But I know that like classic Who, like the really really old ones, they used to have a bit more emphasis on history in like the very first seasons.
Oh yeah. Because I believe that's what originally Doctor Who was designed for, to teach history. Of course, it got quite popular with all the aliens and monsters and stuff, and it changed ways. But it's always been a bit subtly also political as well. But yeah, we'll get onto that in another day. But yes. So anyway, how would you rate this episode?
I think it was an okay episode. I'd probably put it somewhere in the middle of the road, really. It definitely wasn't standout amazing. I did like King James. And I was a bit intrigued about this mystery of, okay, what's the mud? What's going on with these witches? I was interested to find out, but when I did find out, and it's like, oh, it's not the Lorax, is it? It's something else. What were the aliens called?
They were called the Morax, actually.
The Morax, thank you. But when you find out, I went, oh, okay, it's the Morax. It's prison aliens. I kind of felt a bit disappointed by the reveal at the end.
Generic aliens, but yeah. So how do you give it a score out of 10?
I'll give this one I'm going to give this one a 5.5. I'll bump it up to a 6. It can have a 6.
Okay. For me, I'll give it, let's see, a 6.5. I mean, it's a pretty good episode at the beginning, but let's see, it loses quite a bit of points towards the end of it. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. I believe we're done for now. Let's see. I look forward to seeing you again for like maybe next week's episode, if you'll be able to make it.
Yes, indeed. As always, I'll let you know when I'm working. I'll see what I can do.
And I'll let you know when I'm also available as well. Let's see, because who knows? Because I've been doing job interviews now. But yeah.
Oh, smashing! Good luck with those.
Yeah, but yes. But anyway, and also I am. Let's see. I'm just 5 episodes in of Stephen Moffat's last series. Just gotta watch 8 more, and then we can finally do that Stephen Moffat video. Because I believe also Thomas and Jared want to do it, and maybe a few others.
Smashing! That'll be good then.
Oh yeah, because it seems like everyone has a lot they want to talk about Stephen Moffat. But then again, but yes. Let's see. Tune in next time. Bye for now.
See you later.
See.